Got this eco-worthy bracket assembled, sort of. Still have to tighten things down and straighten them again. Can't seem to get one side straight and keep the other side straight. You should have seen me when I had this on the table before I fastened them down to the 4x4s. I only put one bolt in each leg just to hold them in place while I final adjustments. I don't know if you can see it, but this one is cockeyed this way. I assembled them on that table right there, and because I didn't fasten the feet down and I didn't tighten the screws quite enough, it was a lot of fun. One side would slip off the table and I'd get that back on, and the other side would slip off, and then the whole thing would collapse onto the ground. That took me quite a while. I finally tightened things down even though they weren't right, and managed to keep it together long enough to put it over here, and that was not adequate. There's not quite enough room to set it there without issues. So I'm gonna switch back to my previous video on putting this sucker together. Talk to you later. Putting together this eco-worthy solar panel mounting bracket. Looks like everything is here. There is one glaring discrepancy that was present in the previous unimproved bracket assembly, is that the instructions call for bolts going through here, not through here. And this works. Apparently we have enough bolts to do that, but it seems that that size would be better. And also, there's no good way to get a wrench in here to tighten them down. I suppose you can do that. That should work. But it is a royal pain. At any rate, I will continue and get back with you. Just ran into another problem. To tighten this one down, this one has to be taken out to get the wrench in there to tighten it. So that's another issue. Got that taken care of. I can now get in here and tighten this nut out here, and the wrench will stay in place. So that works. Okay, another issue. Getting this wrench out of here now that it's tightened in is a royal pain. I've got to somehow turn this so I can get it out. Anyway, it's just stuck in here right now. I think I got that one figured out. Using the hex head wrench here, you slide it in here like this and force this over. That loosens the wrench up. Oh, thanks. Get in here. And then you can take it out. Not one thing, it's another. Hey, all done. Not really, but that's out of there anyway. One down, 3 more to go. Well, I wish I would have figured that out sooner. But anyway, I've got these, all 4 of them I had put together with both bolts. Now I've got to take out the top bolts on this other 3. And off we go. This wrench does not easily fit in here. You got to kind of work it around a little bit and just play with it a little if you want, or you can do it the easy way. And easy way, you do it the easy way and just drop it in from the top, and then set it on the bolt, or the nut I should say, and you're in town. All right, those are done. I'm not sure which way would be stronger, the way that it currently is set up, or the way the instructions call for it to go through here. But there's just no way you can go through there since there's no holes, unless you drill some new ones, which I am not going to do. Well, it took me a minute to piece this one together. You've got two of these angles here by themselves, and then you've got two of these bars with the angle pieces already on them. So you've got to separate these far enough to put them on. Now the instructions are disappointing. These are supposed to be adjustable for different angles, but the way you adjust them is how far apart you separate the legs. Isn't that great? It tells you how far apart to separate the legs to get to different degrees. Not exactly what I would call adjustable, because once they're set, they're set. Additionally, you're supposed to mount these brackets into whatever support you're going to use. And since I don't know the angle I'm going to use it yet, there's no way I'm going to fasten these supports into anything. I'm probably going to be using a 4x4, which is what I used on that one right there. And make sure you tighten these bolts down. Found that a couple of them were a little on the loose side. Also, I discovered that you can adjust the angle somewhat by selecting different holes to put these brackets in. So if you wanted to, you could move these brackets down a couple inch or two, whatever, get a different angle. On the solar panel unit I already put together, you see down here at the feet that the bolts had the same issue on the unimproved model. I put them on a 4x4 and then on some cement blocks because I wanted to raise them up about 8 inches, maybe a foot, get better sunlight, because my garden is blocking some of the sun. I would have liked to raise them higher, but I've got some room, and I still might do that. I'm not sure how yet, but I still might. On this new and improved model, they have a center bracket, which is good, because the issue before was that by piecing these together like this and this, the center would buckle or bow when 4 larger panels were put on it. So they fixed it by putting this panel in, this support in here, which is all great and good. But I fixed it on mine by getting a couple of these extra long, I guess they're 10-foot U-rails. Just use one on the top and then put together 3 of these on the bottom as it calls for in the instructions, and that worked out fine. I don't have any bow, any bend in the panels. So that's what I'm going to do here. In the meantime, that left me with extra parts. I've got these bolts I never used. I've got extra things here that I didn't need. So we'll figure it all out and get her done. These go together pretty much like the picture shows. Right there. So I'll get these together and go from there. Here's a comment directed at the manufacturers. I think these connectors here will be better suited to fit inside the rails, and they'll be supported by not only the bolts but also by the inner lip here. Now I could be wrong. I might be talking through my hat, I don't know. But it just seems like it'd be a better solution. Additionally, it would prevent people from getting cut on these sharp edges here. Just an idea, for whatever it's worth. Well, there's Bobby in all her glory. One of her favorite positions is on her back with her belly exposed. I guess that means she trusts us. Although she really doesn't like her belly scratched. I do that very often or very long. She play bites. So far she hasn't really nipped me, but I still tease her. Anyway, just a quick update.